Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Winning Mondays again. Another episode that the regional team of KW Malaysia put together in order for us to start our week correctly or start our week at the best impact that we can give to you, so that you can then take it away and have a good week ahead. Today, I don't have any special guests. All of you today are my special guests. So in order for me to look normal, I need you all to be more interactive with me. So please feel free to respond to the chat box, ask any questions, because today you only have me and me alone. I haven't spoken to all of you personally directly, just one person in a winning a Monday session. So I thought today is something a little bit different. And I want to focus on one key factor today, just one factor. And the word that I want to focus on today is called impact, right? Now, if I say impact, what is that first thing that comes to your mind? If you listen to this word impact, right? What comes to your mind? Please put it in the chat box. If you hear of this word impact right now, what is the first word that comes to your mind? Anyone? Progress. What else? Power. Oh, power. What else? Impact. If you hear the word impact, what does it mean to you personally? Impression, pressure, exert, change, making a change, growth. Awesome, great words. What are some of the challenges? What are some of the things that you will feel challenged when you think about the word impact? Some of the challenges that you will face when you think about the word impact, what's the first kind of challenging thoughts that come to your mind, or negative thoughts that come to your mind? What would that be? Transforming life, influence, great. What are the negative thoughts, or that when you talk about impact, or the challenging thoughts that you have associated with impact? Anyone? Difficult. Awesome. What else? Wow, can I? Deep impact, end of days. Might not be able to handle well. Reset. All the negative stuff. Right. To give us a good perspective, I wanted to play a disaster. I wanted to play a short clip of this old movie. And just to give us an understanding and give us set the tone for our conversation this morning. So Ashley, if you don't mind, could you please play the video right now?
Hello, everybody.
10 seconds, Mr. President. 5, 4.
Good evening. A few minutes ago, the United States ambassadors to every country in the world told the leaders of those nations what I am about to tell you. It's a bit complicated, so it will take some time, so I hope you will bear with me, hear what I have to say. A little over a year ago, two American astronomers, Marcus Wolf and Leo Biederman, working on a mountaintop in Arizona, saw something in the night sky that caused them great concern. Comet. But the comet was, well, there was a remote possibility that the comet was on a path that could bring it into direct contact with the Earth. Now, we get hit all the time by rocks and meteors, some of them the size of cars, some no bigger than your hand. But the comet we discovered is the size of New York City, from the north side of Central Park to the Battery, about 7 miles long. Put another way, this comet is larger than Mount Everest. It weighs 500 billion tons. Now, chances are this thing is
Astrophysicists, geologists, and climatologists.
Where the hell is science?
Okay, Harrisburg, Tokyo, Tel Aviv. I want it everywhere.
Get the Hail Bob stand-ups.
And graphics! I need graphics!
Comets began far out in space. They're what's left over from the creation of the solar system after the planets were formed billions of years ago. Now, these chunks of space debris are in an elongated orbit around our sun. But every now and then, one of them gets bumped, sort of like a billiard ball on a pool table, and is knocked into a different orbit. Now, if this comet continues on its path around the sun and keeps its present course, sometime on August 16th, roughly a year from now, there's a chance that we might have impact. So for the past 8 months, the United States and Russia have been building the largest spaceship ever constructed. It's being built in orbit around the Earth, and we call it the Messiah. And right now, a team of American astronauts and one Russian are at Cape Canaveral in Florida. In 2 months, they will leave on the shuttle Atlantis to board the Messiah. This is the crew that will stop the comet. I'd like the world to meet some extraordinary people. First is Mission Commander Oren Monash. Commander, would you introduce us to your team?
I would be honored, sir. Pilot Andrea Baker, Medical Officer Gus Partenza. From Russia, Nuclear Specialist Colonel Mikhail Tulchinsky. Navigator Mark Simon, and Rendezvous Pilot Spurgeon Tanner.
Hello, Mr. President. Captain Tanner, you flew 6 shuttle missions. You were the last man to walk on the moon, weren't you, sir?
Yes, sir, but Oren here will be doing most of the flying on this one. I'll just be taking us down to the comet's surface.
Well, it's good to know we're going to have your kind of experience up there, Captain.
Thank you, sir.
Godspeed to you all. We're counting on you.
Thank you, sir.
Got Beijing, Rome, Sao Paulo, Cairo, Berlin. Does anyone know how big the one was that killed all the dinosaurs?
Something majestic, mysterious, and with a fanfare for the intro and the theme to the long promos.
You want it hitting the goddamn Earth? Well, that's what he's saying. Bring that up again. It'll scare the shit out of
Celebrate any destruction of our way of life. Our society will continue as normal. Work will go on. You will pay your bills. There will be no hoarding. There will be no sudden profiteering. I'm freezing all wages, all prices.
Right. So how many of you watched this movie called Deep Impact? It was a movie that was screened in 1998. Can I have my slides up right now? And I thought of using this tone when you saw that movie, when you saw the President of the United States giving a speech talking about the potential impact that would happen once the comet hits planet Earth, right? What are some of your thoughts when you think about the word impact? It comes up with a lot of all kinds of words that surround impact, right? Especially chaos. What else? What else? When you hear those impactful words, what those impact that speech just now? What are the words that you can describe? Panic, absolutely right. What else? Now, what are some things that you notice that need to get ready to handle it? What are some things that you notice in how he delivered his message? May the force be with you. That was Star Wars. That was wrong movie. Okay. Calm. Why was he calm? What was the explanation? Very calm, right? And one of the things about impact, right? You need to understand what are things that's going to impact you. Actually, there was a plan. Absolutely right. There was a plan. There was a strategic approach. There's even a plan to communicate this in different stages, right, to the people. But very importantly is you need to understand what impact will impact you in this journey, in your business, in your career, in your life. And I'm arguing every single day, every single year, every single month, every single decade, there is a comet that will hit our business. There is a situation where we will be impacted by whatever things that's beyond our control. You all agree that a lot of things that go on in our lives that impact us that is beyond our control. Do you all agree? If you agree, please press 1. Just press 1 on the chat box. There you go. My slides back, please. Right. So if you can watch the movie Deep Impact, next slide, please. Watch the movie Deep Impact. Next slide. Yeah. So it's an interesting movie. It's now showing on Netflix. I recently just saw that movie flash on Netflix, and I watched it just to remind myself, and I was inspired by that movie to share this story, this conversation this morning about impact. And what's the definition of impact? Next slide, please. The definition of impact is an effect or change or benefit to the economy, society, culture, public policy or services, health and environment, of quality of life beyond academia. It means something that has happened that has an effect on something. Now, it could be a negative effect, it could be a benefit, it could be a positive thing, it could be a negative thing. It's a combination of a lot of things. And I start to ask myself this question: what would happen? What's happening? What's the impact of COVID-19? And I know I've been talking a lot about it. I've been talking about the emergency room. You go to some of our past sessions I did last year and this year, we talk a lot about that great impact. But I think it's important for us to understand impact and its own definition, and what is this impact, how is this impact affecting us? And my question to everyone today is, why is it important to think and talk about impact? Can I next slide, please? The question is why? Why do we need to understand impact? Why do we need to create impact? Why is impact so important to us? Anyone in the chat box, please feel free to share. Why do you think it's important for us to understand impact? Anyone? Why do you think it's important for us to find solution? Great, good one. A wake-up call, right? Good, right? What else? Why is it important to get us to come up with a plan? Absolutely right. Why is it important for us to think about the impact, send a strong message? What else? What else? From good to better. In reality, right? Whatever is whatever is going to happen to us right now impacts the people around us, impact our business, our personal life, our family's life, our client's life. Why is important for us to study this word impact? Why? How to survive the right impact, evolve, time to take action, adapt to change, right? If you understand Charles Darwin's study on humankind, one of the things he talked about a lot is the species that adapts fastest, strongest will survive, right? Because the challenge is this current impact we have in COVID-19 has accelerated time to progress and to change so fast that we have never underestimated it. So the question is then, so what? Next question, next slide, please. So what? So what are the things that we need to look out for? What are the things that we need to study and understand? What else? What do you think we need to understand in order for us to observe and analyze the impact that is going to impact us or that's already impacted us? Right. What else? What do you think? What are some of the things that we need to understand? Put in the chat box. If you look out for opportunities, what else? What else? What do we need to understand? Anyone? What are some of the things that we must be studying? What are some of the things that we must be focusing on? What are some of the things that we need to think about in order for us to understand the impact that we are in and the impact that we want to create? Now, in order for you, the word impact is when there's a collision of course, right? Two things coming together as one. And when you're being hit by COVID-19, when you're being hit by changes in the market, when you're being hit by competition, how do you respond? What is it that you do to make sure that in that collision, you are the one that's impacting the other party, not the party is impacting you, or you are impacting the situation not impacting you? What is it that you look out for? Right? There are many things that I want to just share this morning to kind of give us an idea and understanding where the market is in our business, where the trend is. Thank you for sharing where the trend is, and where are the opportunities as well. Understanding owners, buyers, tenants' behavior and strategize. Absolutely. So the first thing we must understand is, what has COVID-19 done to our businesses and to our economy? Right? We must understand that first, because if you don't understand that, the action that we take, it's not inconsistent or incongruent with the reality that's happening right now. And a lot of times I see agents, they don't put too much attention to try to understand what's going on in the market. They are trying to see, how can I work hard and get me some more deals? Now that's important, don't get me wrong, but it's important to understand and respond to the situation and then work hard. Right, so next slide, please. I want to share with you a slide that our government just shared sometime in, I think last year, if I'm not mistaken. Right, sorry, I couldn't find any, what do you call that, slides that is easier to see, but I hope you all can watch this. Now, look at this particular slide. What is sharing with us? I want you to look at the one with the hourglass picture, right? You can see that whose mouse is that? Okay, you can see that 53.4% of companies and business firms are only able to survive for 1 to 2 months only during COVID, during the lockdown. 16.5% cannot survive more than 1 month. Right, and the impact on employees is the full-time half pay. They need to take a cut. So meaning, during lockdown, a lot of employees need to take a pay cut. That's the reality, right? You need to understand that. 67.8% have no sales or revenue. 67.8% of businesses have no sales. This is a survey done for large, medium, small, and micro enterprises in our country. Right? 19% needs to take more loans to fund their business. 11% needs to inject more capital to fund their business. And 68.9% were relying on their savings as the main source to accommodate operating costs and working capital. Now, that is what the government is telling us based on a survey done with all the large, medium, small enterprise. And this covers a general good sample of the businesses in our country. And the reality is that businesses are struggling. Businesses are struggling, and the moratorium helps us to not feel that struggle so much. The moratorium helps us not to feel the urgency or the intensity of this so much. And it's a good thing. I think the moratorium is a good thing. It helps a lot of people to get through. But there will be a time when the can hits the end of the road, the realities will pop up. And the impact has not been felt. We have not really seriously felt the intense impact of COVID-19 in our life, in our business. We have not felt that yet. We have not really seen that come to pass yet. Right, and that's the reality. But you need to understand that the impact has already impacted these businesses. Businesses closed down. You know, my favorite cinema was the MBO cinema in Starling Mall. What happened to MBO right now? Great. I feel that they had the best mindset, the best business model. I like they charge more for drinks and I'm willing to pay for it. I like the environment in Starling Mall. I love it. I always try to go to movies there. But right now, is there MBO? What happened to MBO? Anyone know? Sold to GSC. Absolutely right. They're no longer in business. They no longer exist. Everything now has been absorbed by the biggest, largest cinema provider in our country called GSC. One example. How many of you walk to a restaurant that used to eat and it's not there anymore? How many of you had people who lost their job, or friends, family lost their job? And that's the impact it's creating. And this impact will continue on because it was so great. Yeah, the Yong Tau Fu office no longer open already. The other day I went to look for a restaurant. I was looking for a restaurant to eat lunch one day near the office. That restaurant was closed, this was closed, this was closed, that was closed. A lot of things was closed. Right? And we would thought that these are the good businesses that were busy, that would make a lot of money, but they just couldn't survive this impact. And the impact was too great. Right? Your place, restaurant changed to DIY. There you go. So everything has impacted and changed the landscape. Ernst & Young and a lot of consultants then did a study to see what are the things that is really impacting business. How has this impacted the business? Next slide, please. Right. So COVID-19 has impacted these 5 key elements in our business. Number one, it has impacted the financial model. Financial models were challenged. Financial models were challenged where if you run a business and your cash flow is only for month to month, you will not survive this impact. So cash flow becomes a very important aspect of our business. And I argue for real estate agents today, cash flow is something that you and I need to work on. You need to think about how can you last the next 2 to 3 months and still can do business. Now, there's a difference between having enough money to pay your bills versus having enough money to pay your bills and fund your business activities. Because the minute you stop funding your business activities, your opportunity to earn incomes decrease. So your financial planning and your financial cash flow understanding in your business is critical. Why we design a GPS tool is to help you understand your expenses versus revenue versus income versus cash that's coming in. And having that financial clarity is very critical. And I realized that financial understanding and good financial practices among real estate agents have a lot of opportunity to grow. How many of you think cash flow in your business is very important? How many of you think cash flow in your business, to drive your business forward, you need cash flow? You need to have enough support in your cash in order to drive the business. Because you don't want to come a point where, oh, this one I can't pay for advertisement, this one I can't pay for this, then my business is stuck. I wait for commission to come in first. And so that kind of practice should not. So one of the key things that you need to start thinking about that will impact your business immediately is to have a clarity of your financial standing. What's your budget that you set aside? As you are entering 2022, think about financial implication of your budget. Where is your budget right now? How close are you to the budget? Do you know your budget? Do you plan your cash flow? Do you set aside money to do your business? Do you set aside money to do your business, or do you set aside money to plan for holiday? Don't go for holiday next 1 year. I'm not sure. What's holiday look like? I'm not sure. But do you set aside money for your financial planning for your business and your personal life? The next thing is customer. There is a lack of demand. There is a fall in demand. There is a fall in demand. In any cases, the GDP was negative 20% last year, meaning demand has dropped in all aspects of business. Demand has dropped, which means that in order for you to thrive and survive through this business, you have to win market share because demand has dropped. So meaning, if in your market right now, there used to be 30 transactions a week, right now it will be dropping to 15 or 10 transactions per week. The challenge is has dropped and demand will drop, and there is in a pressure of the economy, right? When people's income is receding, people's income is dropping, there will be a demand, there will be a drop in demand for consumption. It's just across board, right? In this current market, you think about market share. Next thing is supply chain. Right now, this may not be relevant to our business in terms of supply chain, but one of the key things, if you were selling new projects, you will find that suddenly new projects will be lesser. You also find that suddenly of newer homes that is priced to the market, you will see a little bit of that in the supply chain, because real estate is what we call an inelastic product. You cannot decide to change the product overnight to suit the current market overnight. It takes time, patient period for it to churn up new concept and new value proposition from the developer to the consumer. So there will be a bit of time. The next thing is the people. People will change. People will behave differently in this season. People will think about things differently. And the last thing that we'll talk about is technology. Technology becomes a key problem of the current situation. A lot of businesses, based on this survey and this particular what do you call that article that I read, a lot of the businesses were not prepared from a technology standpoint to engage the consumer, and that few that was prepared won the market share. The few that was prepared, technology, what does it really mean for business? I'm going to share this next slide for you, please. Can I have a next slide? There is these two key things that you need to understand: digitalization versus digitization. Oh, this is very difficult to pronounce. It's like a game like that. Digitalization versus digitization. Now, let me explain what is digitization. Digitization is basically you are using certain digital tools to run your business. So for example, today, all of us have already entered digitization by default. Why? Because all of us are holding a mobile phone. You walk out today, trust me, if you go anywhere without your mobile phone, you cannot enter any shop. How many of you agree today, if you walk out today from your home and you didn't bring a mobile phone, you cannot enter a restaurant to eat right now? Do you agree? Right, because you have to scan your MySejahtera. And let me tell you, MySejahtera will be here for life to stay for a very long time. Contact tracing will happen in our life for a very long time. Vaccination requirement to enter premises will be here to stay for a very long time. That is digitization. You are using technology to go on with your life every day. If you're watching television and receiving entertainment from television, you are in that digitization process. If you are using DocuSign, it's digitization. If you are what do you call that? Mining database from spreadsheet, you are digitization. As long as you use a certain device or certain technology to do some of your business, to do some of the things that you do on a daily basis, all of us are digitized. It is quite impossible to survive in our planet on this world right now. Now, I'm talking about Klang Valley, especially in Klang Valley or major metropolitan major cities, without your mobile phone, it's really hard to survive. Right? I walk into a few restaurants the other day, the past few weeks, and some of them refuse to accept cash already. Some of them are asking, I only get your debit card, your credit card, contactless payment. So that is a form of digitization. If you're using an email to send out a message, that is digitization. If you're using a WhatsApp to send out a message, that's digitization. Now, the word digitization is always confused with digitalization. Digitalization means you're moving the entire business to the digital platform. I give you an example of digitalization. Shopee, 11/11/11 coming soon. How many of you are excited for 11/11/11 will stand out at midnight and make some purchase? How many of you do that? Yeah, really, yes. 11/11/11. That is an example of digitalization, where the whole entire business move on to the technology platform that is digitized, digital first, physically enhanced. Now, you cannot have Shopee that is only 100% digitized. It's 80% digitized, 20% physical, because what happens is when you place an order, you click on the products, you make your payment. What happens then? Someone physically send a product to you. They haven't come out with a technology like Star Trek where they can suddenly port that particular, transmit that particular product to your house without any physical attention. Cannot. They cannot beam up, they cannot press, please send the thing to my house right now, and it appears like that. There is no such product yet right now. There's no such the technology that can do that right now. So the technology is allowing you to make that purchase, to search, to view, to communicate the person who is selling the particular product. And when you place an order, it will be physically delivered to you. So it's what we call a digital-based, physically enhanced business. What other digitalization business there is? Grab is a digitalization business. What else? Netflix is a digitalization business, right? You are virtually using entertainment. And when you have digitalization business, something happens. It changes the supply chain. It changes the way people make decisions on buying products. It changes the behavior of the consumer. Now, just put on this chat box here, how many of you in the past 2 years have not bought anything online before? Includes your Grab, your Foodpanda, your Shopee, your things. You have not bought anything online before. Most of us have. Most of us have, I argue. And that is the change that we are entering when the digitalization system comes in. Meaning the consumer is expecting digitalization to be the next thing. Now, in order for you to be digitalized in full as a business, you must then use certain tools like cloud. You need to use cloud storage. You need to use cloud technology. You need to use potentially blockchain, potentially augmented reality, potentially virtual reality, potentially some sort of artificial intelligence in place. There's some automation going on in your business. There is a little bit of processes that has to be automated and not manual. Digitalization is coming and is already here and is here to stay. And then the question is, what's the impact for you and I? What's the impact in your business in digitalization? Now, all of us heard about the big portals that have raised funds or going to raise funds in the US. One potential portal is now going to be a monopoly in our country and Southeast Asia, raising funds up to $400 million US, coming soon in a SPAC deal in the US. That will bring about 1.2 billion US ringgit coming to the Asia region. And I always argue with people, they're not going to be a better portal. They're not going to be an improved portal. They're going to come in and find a new business model to win back and earn more money to pay back for the money they raise. And that's the reality. And they're going to come from a digital aspect. There are already many people who are testing out there in the market this couple of months. There was one that I won't mention the name, show up and tell the whole world that, if you use our services to sell property, because we are not a real estate agent, you don't pay us 3%, you just pay us 999. And I will do 360, I will do virtual showings, I will make sure that it's listed in all the portals, I will make sure that all the consumer can see you. And if I sold the property for you, other agents charge you 2 to 3%, you're going to charge you only 999 for any property. So you will begin to see digitalization will change the way consumer behave and the way service provider behave as well. And what's the impact on us? You cannot run away from this. You cannot say real estate is not part of this journey. Real estate is not affected. And that's really a denial stage, right? Now, let me just give you let me pause here for a while. Any question about digitalization and digitization? Are you all clear about digitalization and digitization? Any questions? What are some of your ahas when you hear this digitalization versus digitization? Anyone? Please put in the chat box. Anybody? Respond. Need to learn, need to understand, because in reality, that's the new reality that we're in right now. Anytime when we cannot think about moving into a digitalization stage of business, the chances of us being left out from the business is very high. Great question is, are we in the digitalization journey? And I will share with you shortly. Thank you for asking that question, Shamila. Now let's talk about real estate business. Where does it start? Next slide, please. Now I sum up by this chart here, very simple chart here. Please forgive my artistic skill set because that's not really my skill set. And I start thinking, what are the steps a consumer? So in order for us to think from a digitalization perspective, we need to focus on the consumer first, because it is the consumer that will then drive the traffic back to us. It is the consumer that will decide to choose us as the agent of choice. And where is the consumer's journey right now? So the first part, consumers start everything from search online. Most of the time, I would say more than 90% of consumer search online. Now, in those days, people will drive around. Now, just over the weekend, every 2 to 3 years, my wife will be asking, should we change houses? Well, in the past 17 years of our married life, 17 years of our life in Malaysia, married, right? I moved 10 times, right? Same wife, but just moved 10 times, right? Just to be clear, right? And every time when we move is because of an investment opportunity that we had. Meaning someone was willing to pay me some money to move, and I moved 10 times. So property investment is something that I put a lot of passion in my younger days. Even though I'm young, but when I'm my younger days, I was energetic enough to move 10 times. And every 2-3 years, you'll be looking at, hey, what do we do? So what happened is I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, we were driving from out of Wang Utama. And you know what, John, let's go see Taman Tun. Let's go see Taman Tun houses. Let's see that maybe it's time for us to look for a new house. So, so I just take her. Sometimes I'm a bit concerned. When I show house to my wife, if I go and see a house, Chinese people say, something will happen. So I'll be very careful. But we went to drive around Taman Tun, and I told her in Taman Tun, this is the kind of location that I like. And I think which is a better location is on top of the hillside a little bit. And we drove around and looked at it. Wow, a lot of nice houses, but there was no signboards. Interesting. There were no signboards. Then I checked our app. Actually, there were units for sale there, but there was no signboard. So meaning, the way we search property, right, driving around looking for homes, it's not something that we do all the time. By the way, it happened only because we were driving out of Tama and we were having a conversation. And let's just go and see the house. Let's just go see for a while right now. It was just a very sudden thing. It was not a planned thing. Now, if I or you were looking at buying a house or looking at a property, what would you do? You will search and do research first. You will check out the price fast because you want to understand information now. The demand for information from consumer is now. It's not 1 week later. In those days, in 2004, when I started real estate, I can tell them I will come back to you in the next few days. I will give you some information. Today, that is not accepted and acceptable anymore because the consumer wants to know fast. Instant gratification becomes a behavior because right now everything is available here, right? So search is the first key element of our consumer because after searching, then is viewing. They will view the property. They will want to have a voyeur experience to go and experience the property in a physical way. But everything starts digitally first. Then it goes into a physical way, right? And then after they look at the property, they're interested, they will make that purchase. And when they buy, there are a few things that happens, right? And I argue today, very soon, you will see mortgages are going to be applied digitally online. You will see that happening right now, very soon. In the next 12 months, 16 months, you will see that buying property, getting a loan, home loan may be digitally done already, right? Then after they bought the house, they need to sell, right? So this is a cycle from buying to selling, and they repeat. So if you are doing real estate today, our business is not complicated, straightforward. The question is, if you want to digitize, where do you start? Now, many people try to start at the buying and selling part. But I think if they don't have a search solution, nobody is going to look at them to buy. Because ultimately, to buy property, to look at property, you need to have choice. You need to understand that the consumer need to choose and need to see options. So the agents that only have 1 listing, 2 listing in that location will not survive in the long run. In reality, if you don't have multiple listings to show in the location that you're working on, you don't have choice to show, guess what's going to happen? Someone's going to call, they're going to call someone else. After the appointment with your nice little house, they're going to call someone else. And guess what? Someone else is going to show your house and everyone else and other houses at the same time. And guess who the consumer will choose as their agent? The guy with 1 listing, the location, or the guy with 10 listing? Even though they buy back the same house. Who would they choose? Put in the chat box. The 1 listing guy or the 10 listing guy? Just put in the chat box, 1 or 10. Why? Because consumer want choice. And when the consumer sees that you are in this location and you are a specialist and you have all the choices for me, I will then treat you more seriously. And when they look at the search experience, when they go online, they see you in every channel. They see you in what we call omni-channel, from Instagram to Facebook to your website to search engines to portals. They see you, all roads lead to you. There's an omni-channel approach. You now seem like a very serious agent that I will spend my time with. That becomes the expectation and demand of the agents, of the clients. And the clients will begin to see, hey, how come you got no 360 view of your property? How come there's no Matterport? How come there's no 360 view? How come that particular listing, this agent only take a picture of the toilet bowl, that's it, nothing else? So the expectation and standards on search will keep on increasing. So meaning agents who do not do 360, don't do virtual showroom, don't do virtual tour house, don't do videos and all that, right, will lose out to the agents that does all these things. So the search experience is important. It is the most critical part because it is the beginning of the journey. Because if I only see you at one listing, I will not remember you, I will not think about you, I will not be impressed of you, I will be looking at someone else that has. And that's the reality of our business, guys. Standards have to go up. Your ability to digitize your search experience with the clients have to go up. Because it starts there. The viewing part, to me, ladies and gentlemen, I got news for you, is not the most difficult part. It is then the physically enhanced part. That is the relationship part. The viewing part is when you have that conversation. You ask that 3 questions. Why are you buying? Why are you selling? By when must you buy? By when must you sell? What's stopping you from buying? You have that understanding, that consultation in that viewing time. And you help the clients to buy. It is a natural thing that will happen. It is a natural thing that goes through certain processes where you understand how to advise the client how to acquire the property. At the same time, you advise the client how to dispose the property. Now, all these things won't work, won't come to pass if the search part is not done well. If there is no digital element to your search exposure to the consumer. Right, to answer, I think Shamila, will ask this question, is we going through a digitalization process? Yes, we are. We are going through a digitalization. Our vision is to find a way to help the agent to be tech-enabled, right? To help the agent to digitally show up first in front of every consumer they can in their local area. Now, if you are a buyer's agent focused, that you just serve buyers and listings are not your key focus, it's fine, but make sure that you're showing up as an experienced buyer's agent that will help them source the best property. If not, if you have to be a listing agent, there's just 2 ways of it. There's only 2 ways. Either you're a buyer's agent or a listing agent. It doesn't matter whether it's a project or sub-sale. The project or sub-sale is just a product. Consumer search is the same across board. Right? Next slide, please. In order for us to run digitalization process, this is the vision. Now, I argue all real estate companies in the market today, all real estate businesses in our country beyond, if you don't have a solution or tech vision like this, you cannot be a digitalized company. I repeat, if you don't have this planning or this roadmap on screen here today, you cannot call yourself a tech-enabled agency or tech-enabled company or a technology company because you don't have this. And our company, we have already planned out this in the past 5 years. Keller Williams in the US have planned, and even in Malaysia, I'm tasked to think of building the similar thing to latch onto this. Right now, we are latching onto this huge platform, and we are in the process of building our new platform in Malaysia as well to localize some of the search. So very soon, how digitalization will look like is when you are an agent and you are looking for co-agency letter, for example, for some services from the market center. Right now, services in the market center is only during office hours, agreed? From 8:30 to 6 p.m., you will get any services from the market center. But what happened after 6 p.m.? It's not 24/7. So digitalization is you can demand for a co-broke letter for 24 hours. It's 24 hours open. In order for us to do that, you must have the technology and the platform that does that for you. So give an example today of how would that look like. So if Shamila was to ask for a co-broke letter very urgently, she wants to view this house in Taman Tun, and the other co-agency is saying you must give me a co-broke letter before viewing, and you cannot wait until Monday. What happens is you go to your phone, you just talk to the chat box. There will be a read field chat box or a KW chat guy or robot, right? Maybe the robot is called Jonathan Lee. I don't know. Maybe I'll make myself a robot in everyone's phone, right? Then you'll see my face and you will chat with me and say, you will type in the details of that particular property. You will type in the details of the the appointment and you click send. And what happens is within, I don't know, minutes, the system produces a corporate letter for you straight away. Automatically send it to you for you. That's digitalization. Does that make sense? Or you demand to see certain numbers, or you demand to send out a certain notice that is prefixed, right? Certain letters that you want to send out that is prefixed. That's 24 hours. In 24 hours, in less than minutes, it's ready, automated, sent out to you. Right? You want to order name cards during off office hours. Put in that chatbot. That is digitalization. That's something that we are working on as a company to localize the services for agents, so that 24 hours you will get a response. 24 hours you don't have to talk to a human person. There is a robot that can give you the tools that you need and the information that you need for your business, the basic stuff, of course. So in order for you to do that, you must first build this. And companies that claim that they are digitized without this is not digitized. They're not digitalized, I'm sorry. You need to build the platform. You need to have a system in place. Right, you need to do that. Correct. You can give indication, property valuation very soon. You'll be giving a report. Don't you do a CMA report right now? Can this happen for property valuation? I think the property values are very concerned about this area as well. Right. So the vision of this is and not only that, you need to have the digitalized search opportunity for the consumer as well. Not only the agents, remember, the consumer is more important here than the agent. You have to put the consumer first before yourself. So the opportunities to digitalize the whole what do you call it? A stream of from search to buy to view to buy to sell. Start from search, and you must think about how can you create the company who is a technology company must create a solution for the consumer. Next slide, please. Excuse me. The consumer focus, right? We have the solution already. We are now playing around with this solution. We are now trying to fine tune our solution where we are consumer focused, mobile based first. Right? I'm just giving you a snapshot of what's coming soon. What's coming real soon. And this happening in a matter of weeks, if not a month or two, you will get access to consumer related products so that your consumer is now communicating with you through technology that is mobile application based, right? That helps you to keep in touch with them, and their search begins through you first on a digital platform. Now, remember this, guys, consumers are not loyal to you personally. They are loyal to your standards and the services that you provide. What if I tell you today, if you are a consumer and a consumer, if search through me, can see 16,000 listings and only see me as one agent versus another agent that only got 10 listings, who has better value proposition? The 16,000 listing agent or the 10 listing agent? Put in the chat box. 16,000 listing or 10 listing? That's the expectation of the consumer. So you and I, in order to win the consumer, we must raise the standards and we must have an application for the consumer. There you go. Netflix Property has an app for consumer. You're absolutely right. Now consumer app is very different because it's linked straight to your command. And we will talk a little bit more as we review our technology in the coming months. That is going to excite 2022. That is going to create impact in the year 2022 for our businesses. So a snapshot to answer the question earlier about digitalization. Yes, we are in that journey to digitalize as much as we can, because our goal right now, I'm very clear, is to be a technology company for the real estate agents in Malaysia. That's our goal. Because if we don't do that, all the agents that is in our care will not be ahead of the market. We got to go ahead of the market. Someone, a very smart agent, recently asked me a very smart question, right? And he asked me this question in a training. I was doing a night training for a team of agents, and he was a bit concerned that if this question will offend me, and the question did not offend. I think it's the smartest question ever he asked that night. I can't remember his name. I think it was in Peter Sachs group, but he asked me this question. He said, John, can you tell me actually, what do you do as a CEO? Brilliant question. I say many people don't ask this question enough, because I would argue that every one of us who is running a real estate business by default should behave like a CEO every day in our business. And I answer this question, the role of the CEO, the what that CEO do and thinks is to think about the vision of the company, think about the perspective of how to keep the company ahead of the market. And what you do every day is to work on the business, not in the business. The goal of the CEO is to think ahead. How would that business look like? What would it take for us to be ahead of the market, to think, strategize, execute, and have talent in the team to execute the things that we want to do in order for us to be ahead of the market. So I want to ask you as a CEO in your own business, what are you doing every day that you're working on the business so that you can create impact in the market and the business that you do? Now, how do we create impact? Next slide, please. And I think these are 3 things that I want to encourage you to think about. Number 1 is the tools that you use to create impact. Now, if you don't know your GPS, you wake up in the morning, you don't know what you are supposed to do, you cannot create impact in any way. Or the impact that you create, it's not sustainable or it's not a high impact. So the tools that we encourage every agent is, where's your GPS? Think about your business. Think about how many units you must sell in the next year. Think about how many listings you must have in the next year. Think about how many database you must build in the next year. Think of it in a very purposeful manner, because when you think of it this way, you will then begin to do things that will create impact. It is the small things. Let me tell you this, guys. It is the small things that you do on a daily basis that will create impact consistently. Small things consistently will create impact. Give you an example today. When we launched our website, we only got 2,000, 4,000 listings. It went to 8,000, it went to 10,000, today 16,000. We're trying to get to 20,000. It's a constant thing, right? Every day encouraging agents, please put your listing in HBlock, please put your listing. You just keep doing the simple thing consistently every day. Then you will build a certain level of impact. Right now, every agent, potentially when we launch our app, would have access to 16,000 listings, and the consumers see one agent, which is you, on their platform, right? So be consistent in the small things. Use the tools of 411 and GPS to help you get there. Number 2, understand the technology platform that we are using right now. Understand it. Use it to understand it. And the way technology is, it's not that technology will save our business. Don't get me wrong. Don't have the mindset, oh, if I use this technology, sure win already. The technology is only a tool, it's only an enabler. But if you don't get your GPS correct, the technology is pretty much useless for you. Because you wouldn't know how many leads to get, you wouldn't know how many database to have, you wouldn't know how many listings to have. Whatever you do with the technology is really not fruitful because you are not purposeful about it. And the third thing is the people, training, coaching, and community. Coming to these sessions like this helps you. Being in a community helps you. Going to coaching one-to-one helps you. Be mentored, be in a community that is trying to strengthen each other out. If you're alone as a single solo agent and you're not in a community, you have a lower opportunity to grow and create impact. So I encourage everyone to be in a community. 3 things to create impact in your business is the tools that you use, the technology that you embrace, and the people that you spend your time with. It's very important for you to think of these 3 key things as you move away from today's session. Think about how are you using the tools. Think about how are you embracing the technology. Think about how are you working with people around you. Because ultimately, right, all of us got brilliant ideas. Next slide, please. All of us got brilliant ideas. Genius is in the ideas. Impact, however, comes from action, right? And I think Simon Sinek said this very, very, very brilliantly, that genius is just an idea. A lot of people got a lot of ideas. Because ideas are easy. You sit down and you think about it, but the real impact comes from the action that you and I take. So when I say we are moving into the digitalization journey, we actually are building right now. We have already built a roadmap to digitalize our business for 2022, which includes hiring the right people to come in, bringing the right talent to come in, putting aside money to build a system so that digitalization will be a constant thing that will be improved in our business. No, I wish there will come a day, which it's gonna happen. It's a question of time, that everything is done virtually. Every single thing that you ask for is done on your phone. When your consumer is connected to you on your phone, that in a short second, you are able to create a CMA report on your phone. You are able to create, check your client's loan eligibility on your phone within minutes. And that's the goal that we are building towards for the end-to-end consumer platform and agent platform mixed together as one. And we are building that. We have in our GPS, that's already there already for 2022. We have a roadmap, and we are already taking action by hiring the right people to come in. So I encourage you in your business, focus on the great ideas, but focus on creating impact through taking action. The next slide, please. Because life is about making an impact, not making an income. And the actions are those three things I talk about. If you want to make an income, focus on creating the impact first. Making an impact helps you create an income. I want to share a quick story before you end today. Personal journey, personal story. 2004, I started real estate, and I was selling one particular condo block in Mont Kiara. It's called Laman Surya. In that first year of my journey, I closed close to 12, 13 units in that 1 year as a rookie agent. Was very happy, make about 150,000 that year, gross commission income. I thought I was good. Then as the market progressed in that location I was working on, they hand over a new condo block, which is the most expensive condo block in that market. It's called Mont Kiara Damai. I don't know anyone what is Mont Kiara Damai. This condominium, which is a Balinese resort theme condo, 230 units on 8 acres piece of land. I had a lot of limiting beliefs that I cannot sell the 1 million unit. And I analyzed my own business, and I realized that in order for me to break through and to do better than this year, I need to start taking listings or doing listings that is higher value, because one Mont Kiara Damai is equivalent to about 4 of my Laman Surya. But I had a lot of limiting beliefs, and there were many occasions where I was struggling as an agent. Even though I had 150,000, I did very well. I was still struggling to manage my finances. I remember I was driving a Proton Vira black color special edition, WLN 5681. I still remember the car number, WLN 5681. I remember that if you went to see my car that time, I have a dent here at the back. I have a light that has broken. I have a bumper that's done. Didn't have enough cash or didn't have the cash flow to fix the car. And I was driving around as a real estate agent in that car. After it's a brand new Proton Vira, but because the way I drive, I was trying to be fast and furious and rushing for appointments and get into a little bit accident here, you know. I remember there was one particular property I pulled out in front of the house, and I met the owner. And the owner looked at me and looked at my car, who is scratched, and there was I think that time the bumper was coming down. I took a string to tie up the bumper for a while. You know those kind of cars. Now I had that before, and the lady asked me this question. They say, "Hey, you sure you can help me sell this property? This property 2 over 1 million, no? You can't even pay for your car bumper. You sure you can or not?" And those were the journey I went through, the limiting beliefs I have. Now I remember when I moved into my new apartment, my rented apartment, my wife, we had no money to buy furniture. What we did is we took furniture from families that didn't want, we just took it in. I remember my wife is a very amazing woman who was very innovative. We bought microwave ovens, we bought vacuum cleaners, right? The boxes from the microwave oven, the big box, what she would do is she will wrap the big box with paper, with a nice colorful paper or white paper or mahjong paper, and that become our table. I was living with that kind of lifestyle where there was a lot of lack of things that I didn't have. And I find myself wondering, do I want to live like this for the rest of my life, or do I want to do something that could impact my life and my family's life? And what was the thing that I was thinking about? I said the only thing that I can do right now to immediately impact my lifestyle is to think about how can I work on the listings that I never done before, or do the things I have never achieved before. And long story short, I sold my first $1 million property, 1.28 million, but it was Monkera Dama Unit 28-3. Buyer was Helen Stanfield, British family, John and Helen Stanfield. How I show up was, I was the only agent that was able to show them multiple options. And I was the only agent that would sit down with them at the lobby after the viewing and wrote down questions and asked them questions about their business. So only agent, they shared that with me openly, saying nobody sit down and ask. And the property that they bought from me, they already saw it with another agent before. Real story, by the way. And the prices that was quoted to them by the other agent was way higher than the price that I quoted. The thing is this, I was trying my very best to impact their journey of buying real estate, so that in return, their impact will impact my journey in real estate. So it's all about your mindset, how you think about creating impact for the consumer first. What do you think about your business? How do you show up and behave? Next slide, please. Because the way you want to create impact, can I have the next slide, please? It's whether it's a high impact, no impact, or negative impact. It all depends on the decisions and the behaviors that you do every day. That's the impact. In reality, that's impact. So technology is how you choose to behave and decide on technology. I'll give you an example. When I talk about technology in real estate, I'm a very passionate person. The way I behave, the way I do it. No, I also dress up like technology. So now I wear t-shirt already. I wear t-shirt and jeans and I put my lanyard. Wow, it looks like I'm a technology person, right? So you behave that way, you think that way, you immerse yourself that way, and you will then begin to start thinking about what is the impact you create based on the decisions and behaviors that you have. Now, in your own business, you ask yourself this question: how am I deciding? What are the key decisions that I have to do in order for me to create impact? What are the key behaviors I must behave in order for me to create impact? And the power is between you and me today. Now, I shared a story just now is to help encourage some of us here today who might think we are too small, or maybe there are a lot of things that is too difficult because this impact is just too great. And I understand that. I understand the whole technology journey is it's very, very heavy. It's very, very overwhelming. It's very, very huge. But I want you to think about it from a bigger landscape. Think about the three things that we talked about just now. The tools that you use, the technology, and the people that you spend your time with. Think about those things. Start somewhere first. Think about, make a decision why you need to make this impact. Why must you impact your own business? Why must you do certain things in your life right now to change and turn around your business? And all of us, I argue, in order to have a very solid business in our real estate industry, is to think about how to impact so that we can grow our business. And I encourage you to think about your decisions that you make, the behaviors that you behave. You can stop sharing the screen right now. It's just I thought this today was to help you understand, number one, where the company is coming from, where are we coming from a leadership, where are we thinking about creating impacts in your business life and your consumer that engage you in your business. But at the same time, to throw you a question is, what sort of impact do you want to create in your life and your business today? I want you to think about this as you go back after this session. Ask yourself this question: what impact am I creating? Or what impact do I want to create? Because remember, life is about impact, not about income. What impact do you want to create? Or what impact are you creating? Or what impact do you want? Right? Ask this question to yourself and begin that journey by looking at the tools. And if you look at the tools, it's the things that you do in your activities impactful? Are the people that you spend your time with impactful? Are you embracing the technology that is impactful? Think about this as you go along the way, because if the life has no impact, I challenge a business that does not create impact cannot be impacted in a high level way. And my wish for everyone here today is to think about the impact that you should be creating, the opportunity that all of us are missing, that we should be focusing on how to get on track based on the market that we are in right now. Right, I'm going to stop for a while because I feel that I'm lecturing and I am preaching a sermon. But anyone got any ahas as you go through this conversation this morning? What are some of your ahas? No lah, don't lah, brother. Don't say that. What are some of your ahas that you gather from this morning's conversation? Anyone? Yeah, 100 of us here right now. Like, what are some of the things that you are getting from this conversation? It's never too late to start. Absolutely right. Be consistent in the small things. Absolutely right. Slow and steady, fast and consistent. Fast and consistent. Change for a better life. Absolutely right. What else? Strategic. Be very strategic. What else? Tools, tech people create impact for us always. Absolutely right. If you're not using the right tools, you're not embracing the tech, you're not being with the right people, you will not be, the chances of creating impact is lesser. Absolutely right. What else? What are some being purposeful in our daily work? Think about what you should be doing daily. If you wake up in the morning and you don't know what you should be doing, you really need to talk to someone about it. Something is wrong in your calibration of your business. Big impact creates big results. Start digitalizing our business right now. Never sit forward, but always be prepared for it. Absolutely right. Right, with that, I'm going to go for announcements, please. Ashley, can I have the announcements before we close? Reflection, why gone wrong? What have gone wrong? Prepare most listing before meeting a client. Must embrace the process of changing for successful business. Absolutely right. So again, this is our weekly training that we have in our announcements. This Wednesday, I'll be doing a session with Wealth Without Limits, build your business with referrals in our R2 campaign. So I encourage everyone to come in. We are also in the process of resetting the whole training system, and we'll be sharing a little bit more as we go along the way. Next slide, please. Right, so there's a session on Wednesday. I will highly encourage you to join this session on Wednesday to kind of understand the progress of R2 agents joining our companies. And in the next couple of weeks, I'll be making some exciting announcement of the real top producers that have just decided to join our company, right? Because of all what you have done, right? Next slide, please. Right, so again, put your listing up there. Be consistent about putting your listing on the spotlight. There are 80,000 subscribers. So last week we have 20 out of 46. There's 50% opportunity available for you to grab, right? So do that at the end of today. Next slide, please. Touch points are continuing on. We will not stop. This is an example of being consistent in what we do. Every week, the small things of our touch points is to be a role model for all of us to be consistent, right? Consistency is very important. Next slide, please. Right, okay. So thank you very much, guys. I hope this has been a very helpful session for all of you. I hope this has kickstart your business and your journey this week in a different way. So thank you for being here today. Spread the message out that we are going into the digitalization process. We are going to be a digital company first and a physical company, physically enhanced company. That's our vision, our goal, and we are getting there right now because the goal is to get you ahead so that you are impactful enough to impact the consumer from in your market. With that, thank you so much, guys. Have a good rest of the week. I wish you all the best. See you in the next session. Thank you.
I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath.